time for another stirring episode of A Comic Book Education.
Edumacation.
We can't say that because that's somebody else's podcast.
Is it really?
Yes, it's Kevin Smith's podcast.
Well, he's a really funny guy.
Yeah, which is actually a very funny podcast I was suggested. But my name is Stuart.
And I am Jeremy.
Jeremy. All right.
Yes,
nice
that's who I am. It's nice to meet you too.
I'm so excited for this one. This is the movie review, to top all movie reviews in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
This is the Star Wars The Force Awakens review.
2.5 years in the making is this podcast review.
Yeah. We were thinking about it that long ago. It's
That's
amazing.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, and to be warned, spoilers everywhere.
Big spoilers. We're going to talk about everything.
Yeah.
Like, turn it off right now if you don't want to hear that this person died in the movie Han Solo. Oh, too late for you. Spoiled.
You can turn it down and just watch us.
That's awful.
You can
That's idea.
Science theater and
No,
just guess what we're
really
saying.
bad. Hey, did you see before the movie that they were going to have a special Mystery Science Theater 2000 or 3000 like reunion on those special live type events, the Fathom events at
I did not see that.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun. I like Mystery Science Theater 2000.
How can you not?
Oh man, yeah, this was a massive movie, massive anticipation for both of us. Hugh and I both are huge Star Wars fans, as can be told by some of the last comic book review shows we've done, which seem to all surround Star Wars comic books. Everything has been building up to this for the last several years, and I mean, I remember a lot of merchandise and hype around episode 1, but I feel like the merchandising and like the commercial preparedness, is that the word? If getting ready for this movie has been over the top and insane. I don't know if it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's part of the Star Wars. It's part and parcel with Star Wars, right? I mean, George even made a deal taking less on the front end when he set up the original Star Wars to get merchandise points. And it has worked okay for him.
Disney has already made their money on this, in my opinion.
They haven't made their money on the Lucasfilm purchase, but they've made money on this movie already.
And all of the merchandise has been sold. I've heard some astronomical numbers. I won't say what they are.
Bazillions?
Yeah, we'll go with
Wow.
bazillions, but pretty insane amount of money there, plus the movies that are be coming out every year, really.
Yeah, we are in a nonstop Star Wars mode. It's going to take over for probably the next 5 or 6 years.
I hope.
Well, do you think we started off? I mean, okay, so let's get this out on the table for everybody. I mean, if you haven't checked out Facebook or whatever, I mean, this has been a big movie, very well received. Both of us loved this movie. It is very, very good. If you had to rank it in your Star Wars movie appreciation, what number does this appear?
It's hard because you don't want to be
very hard.
Also, you don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. So, like, my
feel
views
a
might
little like
change a year from now. But Empire is number 1 for me.
Okay,
and then I'll put this one there.
You would put this as number 2.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. I'm a little. I've got to have the original in there, so I would go Empire, then New Hope, then this one, and Return of the Jedi. Feeling very tied right now. This one because it's new, shiny, and really wonderful, and Return of the Jedi because it's still an awesome freaking movie and ties everything up. So I don't know. I would need more Luke for this to trump everything and to go into that number 2 spot, man. That's pretty intense.
It got better the second time, if that's possible.
It did get better. Both of us have seen it twice now.
Yeah.
Okay. First time we saw it on opening Thursday night, big deal, lots of people. The next time I went by myself, you went with a smaller group of friends? Or just your dad? Mm-hmm. Okay.
In a theater that I'm sure y'all listening probably have.
Y'all, you would know that we're in Augusta if you say y'all.
You guys. One of those luxury theaters. It was really cool. The first time we got to sit in really nice reclining seats.
You were just blinded. The movie stunk. You were just blinded by the theater.
Yeah, exactly. What can I say?
I love Pacific Rim because I saw it in some giant,
pack rim. They're making a second one with that. Let's go on with we have a template that we usually go by. And
Yeah,
we're
I'd like to
going
do that.
follow
That sounds fun. So this is our movie review template that has been curated over eons of time on how to best rate and review a movie.
That's right.
Well done.
We'll start with expectations.
What a way to start. Never in my life have I had more expectations for a movie than this one ever. There are a lot of people in my world that tried to keep me from the fervor of episode 1 and prevent me from just pouring too many hopes and dreams into this film, but it couldn't be stopped. I was a nervous wreck week leading up to this. I got off Facebook. I completely disconnected myself from fandom because I did not want to have anything spoiled. I didn't want any kind of preconceived notions to mess it up. I just anticipated this perfect scenario of JJ and Lawrence Kasdan and John Williams and new characters.
Kathleen
and just
Kennedy.
Kathleen. I mean, just this set of human beings to make this movie could not have been any better for me. And they delivered very close to 100%.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I was bound to the fact that it would never hit my expectations because my expectations were so high.
Yeah, that was really a weird thing, wasn't it? Because it was like you even knew with your expectations it can't do that, but yet I still had them.
Yeah, I can't explain my anticipation for this. I mean, it was something I woke up thinking about like all the time. I mean, this is what kept me going right here because on those bad days when it's rainy and nasty outside like today, I can always remember Star Wars is coming.
Star Wars is coming.
And like you, I tried to avoid best I could any possible spoilers or anything like that, which was very difficult. But it never was spoiled for me.
One of the big things for me was not trying to find the music early. And that's what ruined me for episode 1 was I went and got the music that came out several weeks before the film did. And I read the track selection and find out that Qui-Gon's funeral was a piece on the soundtrack. And man, I was like, well, I guess he's going to die. And I knew that going into it, which I thought was kind of ridiculous. And this, I think they also have like the death of Darth Maul is the name of one of the tracks. Like, well, he doesn't survive either. So this one, the track names are a little more ambiguous. And
I think it was released the day after the movie.
It was, yeah. It was released on Friday.
The day after we saw it.
The day after we saw it. So it was released on the day. And that was special to get to come in and listen to that soundtrack in the morning, having just seen it. And we'll get to the soundtrack.
Next up is screenplay.
Screenplay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty broad. It feels, sometimes in these reviews, it doesn't feel that broad, but this one feels like pretty things to talk about.
Pretty weighty. So let's talk about who wrote the screenplay. So Michael Arndt, the guy that did Toy Story 3 and Little Miss Sunshine, just an odd movie, he wrote this initial draft, and that's the one that Disney gave to JJ, and JJ said, thanks, not enough of the old crew in this. I want to do something else. And so he goes and gets Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire Strikes Back, who wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark, who directed movies like Silverado and Wyatt Earp and Open Range and lots of great Western movies. And he wrote some other great movies too. Accomplished Hollywood guy, and obviously with the weight of Empire Strikes Back and Raiders of the Lost Ark, he gets these types of stories, and so he jumped on board. And he and JJ walked around London. I've heard the story a couple times now, and
Paris,
Paris, and wherever else they were at, and they just talked about what they wanted to see in the movie, and they wrote down ideas on napkins and came back and wrote the screenplay, which is crazy, but it's cool if you think about getting to walk around with Lawrence Kasdan talking about what you'd like to see in the next Star Wars movie. That'd be a pretty killer
They're like, we we weren't secretive about it either. We were just walking and talking, just like wide open. So if you happen to hear them,
then you would have known all of the stuff. So these guys wrote the screenplay, and you know, I feel like the screenplay is very solid. It flows the way it needs to flow. You and I both talked about how there seemed to have been several scenes that maybe didn't, or we wanted to see, not like fan service. I want to see Chewbacca with spider legs, nothing like that. No Patton Oswalt nightmares. It was more like I thought there should have been an extra scene with Captain Phasma, or maybe we needed another scene with some of the other bad guys, and felt like it had been cut. And I'm not saying, JJ, you got to reveal all of your mystery boxes and all of your dreams and all of your mysteries that you've left inside the story for us to figure out later. But character development wise and just to move the story forward, I felt like there were a couple things missing. What did you think of the way the scenes were constructed?
No complaints except, well, the same as you just said. I wanted more Captain Phasma because they really hyped her up, and she's a great actor, and she's awesome in Game of Thrones. So
yeah, she was a pointless silver droid that did not move from one position.
Yeah,
that was disappointing.
I wanted a little more Poe Dameron.
Yeah, I could have had some more of him in there.
Interestingly enough, he was supposed to be killed.
Really?
He was supposed to be killed when
Where
the
did
TIE
you hear
fighter went
this?
Down. From J.J. Abrams.
From J.J. in some interview or something like that?
He came over.
He called you?
And spoke to me. But no, he actually said in an interview he was going to have him killed in that TIE fighter moment when it crashes.
Wow, that would have stunk because he's really great later on.
Oscar Isaac saw that was the case, and he kind of was like, giving scenarios about how cool this character could be, blah, 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 and it back and forth. And finally, Jerry's like, yeah, dude, you're in.
Okay.
And
wow.
That would have been a really frustrating piece to not have because he was great.
He was great.
Oh, man.
I've got one kind of story element and character that was a little frustrating to me and would like to have seen handled potentially a little differently. However, it encompasses my favorite scene in the entire movie. So can I talk about this now, or are we going to talk about it later? Did you have a plan?
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So the scene at Maz Kanata's castle, where Han takes Rey and Finn, and they meet Maz, and they're trying to get BB back to the rebellion or the resistance, and Rey finds the lightsaber underneath her, in her dungeon or whatever it is, and Maz says a couple things. She says, I know I may not be a Jedi, but I know the Force, and we're supposed to take her at face value on that, even though she's not a Jedi and we have no other connection. I thought that was a pretty big leap just to bring in new, wise, dried apricot Jedi mistress that really is not a Jedi in that Yoda role for this. And then she has the lightsaber. How did you get this? That's a story for another time. I felt like we're leaving a whole lot of super important things that you're going to have to either explain later, and there's got to be some cyclical reason why she was there and why that was going on because of the weight and gravity it has on Rey and Luke and that whole story, or that's a big leap for us to just accept that this girl got the lightsaber and she knows the Force and can help Rey through her transition there at the perfect time. Was just was something that I raised the little red flag. However, like I said, that was my favorite scene, is when she touches the lightsaber, has the flash forward. I thought Daisy Ridley's acting in that scene was amazing.
Hold on. So you often, and our screen just went out.
Oh, no.
You often talk about J.J. Abrams, the way he does things, and you like that there isn't always answers and that he just throws out things and you just kind of have to guess.
Absolutely.
But
not the case here. So an example of a way I love that is Max von Sydow's character. Sydow or Snydow? Sydow. Max von Sydow. You're trying to think how it's spelled, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Anyway, I loved that at the beginning of the movie.
Oh man, I
He's
wanted
so
more
great.
of that dude.
I would love to have had more of him, but I didn't need to have more of him.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, right? There's something that I can readily accept that Han and Chewie have this new ship. I don't need to know where it came from. They're smuggling again. Okay, I got it. It makes sense. I don't know who these bad guys are that they're communicating with. It's okay. I mean, it's all that kind of stuff is fine. But when you move into a character that needs to be in the story and needs to tell Rey about the Force and guide her, that character needs to have some type of connection that is explained, maybe not all the way, but just differently. Like I needed my uncle so-and-so was a Jedi, so I know the Force, right? I mean, it could have been done in a line. I don't need to have it completely built out. But the way both of the things were approached, it left it open to me. Now, he may come back and tell us all about that in the second one. Or actually, JJ won't come back. Whoever's doing this next time will come back and do that. And that'll be fine if that comes out. That was one of the parts that was lacking from the screenplay, in my view. I don't feel like I thought like there was very little else that needed help. One thing I was going to say, I had another one on my little notes right here.
You're being a real negative Nancy here.
No. This is a positive thing. So let's go to something positive. One of the things I feel like is really missing in the expanded universe stuff after Return of the Jedi was fun. We lost the fun of Star Wars in the midst of sci-fi writers getting to take and do their own trilogies, and comic book writers taking and doing more and building out Knights of the Old Republic and Jedi Council stories and all this stuff. We were lost in a post-Watchmen, post-Dark Knight world in the comic books that then moved into the 90s, which is a dark abyss of Deadpools and Cables. And then we moved into kind of a resurgence towards the end of, in the early 2000s. And Star Wars didn't get to be a part of that resurgence because it was lost over in Dark Horse world. So anything that was fun and bright, that I brought out some of these early Marvel stuff in the late 70s, which still captures some of that fun. We didn't have any of that in Star Wars for a very long time. The only way they went fun was to go kiddie and do Clone Wars and do campy stuff with Star Wars Rebels, which, sorry guys, I'm not a fan. In those, that's not where the fun I wanted. I wanted the fun of the TIE fighter chase in Star Wars, right? That's fun. There's those types of things, that excitement, that action-packed energy that happens on Jabba's sail barge in Return of the Jedi, and those types of things. Those have been missing for Star Wars for a long time, and JJ grabbed onto that like an anchor and gave us multiple scenes in this movie of just what it would be like to drive a Millennium Falcon. Holy cow, that would be so fun. And we're getting to see it through her eyes and shoot inside the blaster cockpit. It was just, those things to me were amazing, and I thought very well done in the screenplay to make it fun.
I don't really, because I don't want to miss anything. Do you want to kind of go through the movie a little bit, or you just want to hit highlights?
I think I want to hit highlights. I want to finish our model there, and then if we got to dive back in,
okay.
Because I don't know if I want to rehash the entire thing. Most people have seen it. If
awesome
they're well, you need to tell me what you think's awesome then.
All right. One thing from the screenplay that was strange for me is the deleted scenes. So there were two big ones that I noticed, and
how do you know they were deleted?
Well, I saw the trailers, and then I saw the movie.
Okay, so the trailer's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first one is a minor one, but it's Kylo Ren walking in the snow with his helmet on, looking hurt, and then he does the lightsaber for the first time. You saw, I remember that in trailer.
Yeah.
Not there. Not a big deal, but that's not there. But that is kind of strange because that was a really awesome reveal. And
maybe they filmed that scene
just for the trailer,
with both things in mind, right? Like they thought maybe he would wear his helmet to that battle, and maybe he wouldn't wear his helmet to that battle.
other one that's a little more important to me is Maz handing the lightsaber to Rey. I mean, you can't miss it in the trailer. Screen capped it and checked.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think that changes things because it shows that she's more willing to
Accept this role.
Accept that. And I don't know, that really changes because she was very, very opposed to it, I thought. And
yeah. I'm not sure why that one was filmed. It makes sense why the helmet scene thing, they could have just determined. But that scene there seems like a whole different way that sequence could have gone.
I thought it was cool in that scene. The lightsaber is revealed in a box, and we have seen that in episode 4, of course. Kenobi opens a box too.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's the same.
Lots of great parallel construction in this.
Yeah,
based on
some feel too much.
Really,
it's a big complaint that this is episode 4. To them, I would say maybe this has elements of episode 4 in it.
Lots of elements.
But it's from a different angle and done extremely well. So
let me ask you this. One of the things that is, I don't know if it's a gripe, but it's along that vein. When, and we set the scene here and see if you can get your opinion on this. So when George Lucas decided he wanted to write Star Wars originally, he was enamored with Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces and The Hero's Journey, and a lot of that guy's philosophy and style, which basically says that all great religions and myths and stories of the past have common themes, common elements. And George said, I want to write my own modern myth, and I want to use the platform of the old serials of the 40s with Flash Gordon and stuff that he grew up loving, that would be his kind of medium that he would write it in. So he was combining kind of the Flash Gordon space opera, Western, and this modern myth, which
Akira Kurosawa guy.
Yeah, all the people that he loved. So when he began building out Star Wars, he was following to the letter the hero's journey, which is pulling off of these great central mythic things that are kind of built inside the human psyche. Carl Jung and all these different psychologists and things that have been a part of that whole hero's journey, structure. So, and it obviously worked for George. I mean, the whole Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, all of it is written right for it. He abandoned that whole model when he went and did episodes 1, 2, and 3. And those elements are barely in there, not done in the correct structure. And it's like George said, well, I know how to write now. I'm going to do kind of what I want and tell this little prequel story that I've got. Then JJ comes along, and I felt like rather than go back to A Hero's Journey and those the true deep elements of our psyche, he used the mythology of Star Wars to build this next Star Wars. So it was, rather than go all the way back and come up with some different ways of achieving the same type of cyclical construction like Star Wars was, he used it. So this is, hate to use the word, a clone of
whoa, yikes,
of the original Star Wars films and utilizes them as their basis. Now that works great because it has a lot of fan service for the casual fan. It has a lot of elements that almost, you've got the mythic level of Luke Skywalker now, not the mythic level of Jedis. You've got the role that Han Solo plays and the family role that everybody talked about with Han and Leia. It doesn't matter that, that becomes the central point, not family itself, but the Skywalker family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's almost like they used Star Wars as the Bible rather than using this hero's journey that George used as the original Bible. So I felt like that was a little bit of a I feel like we could have even, this thing is going to last. This movie's going to be great because it's based on Star Wars and pulls from some of those elements. but it won't have the resonance that the original Star Wars has because they didn't pull from those original sources. I'm being a little negative, but is that okay?
No, that's fine. It's I mean, there's so much positive to say, and it has been said. So, I guess we love this thing. So these are minor.
I mean, we can talk about like the music, which is what I'm saying was just freaking awesome.
We'll get there.
All right. So that was my. I think screenplay wise, the ending is written so well. I love all that. I love Star Killer that is pulled from one of George's original screenplays for Star Wars. There's so many cool elements.
I don't know how to fit this one in, but you have this book out here, and I'm sure you have it out here for a reason.
For this scene, this little.
There's a few other ones, but yes, this shot is done, or what do you call these things? Previs or
that's just concept art.
Concept art by the great Ralph McQuarrie, who's passed away, but his influence is certainly felt in this movie.
Holy cow!
In many areas. From this, which is like you said, this was supposed to be
on Tatooine, but it's actually used on Jakku.
Yeah. There's sort of a BB-8 kind of character that he drew. There's also the costume that Rey wears that they drew from as well. I mean, things like that.
Phasma looks a lot like some of the original Stormtrooper designs.
And I just think that just again shows the detail and the love that was put into this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Ralph McQuarrie. I mean, he had some awesome designs. So
yeah, he's amazing. And yeah, this is a great book. I'm turning to the cover, and it's called The Illustrated Star Wars Universe, and it's got so much great stuff in it. It's basically every piece of Ralph McQuarrie art based on Planet, and it's really great. His stuff on Dagobah is awesome, and then he does. This is Coruscant before Episode 1. It's really great. I love this. I mean, that looks like Starkiller right there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so much pulled in. The giant Ewok guy, we didn't get to see him. Some of these other things on Endor would have been really cool to see. One of the things that's really special is Alderaan. And when you look in this book, you can see how they intended to make Alderaan. And
that's cool.
That's an awesome shot right there. It's just this white cityscape, and I'm sorry we didn't get more of that. Anyway, maybe we'll see that on another one of these upcoming movies. Getting to see these Ralph McQuarrie pieces come to life. Just a big impression on me is what was all of this Ralph McQuarrie stuff when I watched the original movies. I collected all the trading cards, and the trading cards would have concept art on them. And that, when I was in 1981, I would have been what? I would have been 8 years old when Empire came out.
1980. We're going to get a lot of hate
1980,
mail.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I was 7. I'm sorry, I was thinking about Raiders of the Lost Ark, maybe.
Man.
Sorry, 1980. And
the edit button.
when it came out, I remember looking at these cards and seeing the artwork and thinking to myself, somebody has to think about what this movie looks like before it's made into a movie. And that whole idea of process was one of the first times I thought about people make these things. These are not like magic that you go to the cinema and are transported to a galaxy far, far away. Somebody's actually creating these things. And so that has always been a tie to me to love watching the way movies are made, to see the behind the scenes stuff. And Ralph is really the genesis of that by seeing that concept art on those cards.
Let's move on to action. What did you think about, was there any scenes that jumped out at you? Or
freezing the laser bolt using the Force was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then I like at the end just does like that and it shoots off. That was really awesome.
It was awesome.
That opening scene was awesome.
The opening scene was awesome. The escape from the TIE fighter hangar was great. Them jumping in the cockpit and learning to work together, and that whole thing was awesome.
Seeing the same angles that we've seen before really meant a lot to me. I mean, him getting in the turret, just like Luke, it was just, I don't know. It was awesome. And to think in the trailers, we thought that was Han Solo flying the whole time, but it was her.
It was her.
And in fact, that was the first time I thought maybe she was force sensitive or perhaps a Jedi because she said she didn't know how to fly it.
Yeah.
But then she knows how to, or she said, I know how to fly it. I mean, I don't know how, but I know how to fly it, basically.
Yeah.
And she did perfect. And I think that's, for me, I thought that was the force coming through as far
Yeah,
as.
she's definitely exhibited all kinds of force sensitivity and throughout it in little subtle ways and then in even big ways. So, but yeah, man, the action was just amazing. I mean, the lightsaber battles were cool. They were a nice combination of some fast, furious stuff like we saw in the prequels, and then that I felt like they gave the lightsabers that weight that they have in the original trilogy, which to me was super important. I'm not as big of a fan of the lightsaber battles in the prequels because they zoom around so fast and they look
Except
like they don't weigh
one,
anything.
I have to say.
It's a great scene. It's not a great lightsaber battle. Great lightsaber battles are when the lightsaber is heavy and has weight, and you've got to have control and focus and all those kind of things.
That Darth Maul fight is unstoppable. I mean, that's probably visually my favorite fight. It doesn't mean anything to me emotionally or anything. My favorite lightsaber battle, of course, would be
Empire.
Yeah, I'd have to say with Empire. And it's not all, jazzy and crazy. It's just
Right.
the story behind it.
Yeah, and I felt like this had a great story behind all the times he pulled out the lightsaber. I thought Han, Chewie with the crossbow, all that stuff was fun.
Yeah.
You felt the weight of those laser bolts hitting things. They weren't just like little things falling down. It was like heavy duty. Sound was good.
How about Ben Burt's not on this?
Yeah.
I meant to look into that. That dude's amazing. He's a
he
pioneer.
He's did everything.
I don't understand
And
what happened.
you want your latest, greatest Ben Burt, you got to go back to Wall-E, which got great sound in Wall-E.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I loved all of the dog pilot, dog fight, not dog pilots.
Dog pilot.
Dog pilots are from Up. That's kind of a weird thing. Dog fighting stuff with Poe and his crew, I thought was very fun. It definitely gave you the feeling of the original movies, but it did not have the cheese factor of some of the prequel shots with them zooming around. Like I felt like it was very good with Poe and that whole crew was wonderful.
There's one, I guess, they'd never really named the planet, I don't believe, but were they on Yavin?
The base?
Yeah.
No, they named the base.
What was it?
It was some system.
Okay.
Controlli system or something like that.
So wherever they were, and they got captured, and all of a sudden you see like 10 X-Wings coming from forward towards
that was
you,
Maz
like,
Kanata's planet. I don't know what the name of that planet was.
that was one of my favorite shots.
That was great.
I think, anything that had involved space battles or anything like that was right on point. I thought it was wonderful. There was...
I love the action. They're not really action sequences, but the sneaking around the bases, it just felt like you were on the Death Star again, and that was good.
Flying through the Death Star with the Millennium Falcon. Whoever came up with that is a genius. That is amazing.
From Jedi.
No.
Oh.
When the Millennium Falcon flies through the,
The Star Destroyer?
Star Destroyer. That's my air now. Now we're tied. Star Destroyer.
Wow. Yeah. That sequence was just amazing. And then she has to turn over and expose the gun to it was just very good.
Let's go on.
Hard to gripe about anything action related in this movie.
Yeah, let's go on to acting. I guess we can, start with Han Solo, since I think a big thing around is. Really
I think the
revolved
weight of
around
the
him a little
entire movie is on Harrison Ford's shoulders, and I think if you're going to rely on somebody to carry you through, you go where your money is best spent, and that is definitely Harrison Ford. There was you've got John Boyega can be fun, and he's a little wide-eyed in this because. Not only he's a young guy, as a young actor, he's experiencing all of his stuff, but his character was exactly the same. So I thought that made a lot of sense. I thought
I thought he was great.
John was great. I'm just saying that if you're gonna put the weight of the important scenes and storytelling and to pull things together, and obviously the death sequence, all of those things needed to have Harrison Ford in them. The four, I guess if you count Oscar Isaacs, but all of the new actors were perfectly suited for what they did, and they all did amazing jobs. I don't have any problem with any acting. The only person where you're a little bit distracted with is just Carrie Fisher, because she looks so different from what she did originally as kind of the sex symbol of Star Wars and the gold bikini and at least the spunky, very pretty princess. That she's an older lady, matronly as a general, and she's so short that that you're a couple times I found myself, oh look, it's Carrie Fisher. That was it. But you talked about how her voice, she doesn't talk like Carrie Fisher. She talks like Princess Leia.
Yeah.
So there is a character that is Princess Leia that she goes back and finds and brings back out in this movie. So I thought she did a great job too.
I thought she was wonderful. I have to say, in the other ones, she was more taking control and more opinionated in what she wanted to do and very forceful. In this one, she was much more behind the scenes,
reserved.
She's a general. Yeah, I would say so. And scenes with her and Han hugging each other and stuff, I thought were very powerful for me.
Yeah, I don't know how much she'll be in the next ones.
I don't know. That's a good question.
3PO was not as Tony Daniels wears me out, I guess. Maybe 3PO wears me out, but
he was there.
And
BB-8
was great.
Yeah, I think that was something I was a little concerned about, is to how that was going to work. But what were you just saying before?
I'm sorry.
You distracted me. It was something amazing I was going to say. Just pretend like I said it and be in awe. All the acting for me was spot on, 100%. I loved everything about it. There was no performance that distracted me except for John Boyega being from England. But
your whole issue with documented on the podcast, your issues with accents is just disturbing.
Let's go on to music.
Moving on. I wish we would have got the piano from the trailers. I really loved the trailer music almost more than what we got here. But now listening to the themes, Ray's theme, John Williams has still got it where it counts, kid. He knows what he's doing.
I think the first time I watched it, I wasn't so impressed. I mean, he hit all the notes that we remember very well, but I couldn't come out of that theater humming some new music like I could in episode 1. I mean, you clearly know, you hear Darth Maul's music, it's a signature. But in this one, I felt I didn't have that kind of peace, and I was surprised by that.
Well, in listening to, I would say when I walked out, I wasn't doing that either. But then now listening to it, Ray's theme really comes through. It's great. I would suggest that you dive in to that one.
All right, fair enough.
But it definitely complemented everything that we were doing.
Let's see, costumes.
How can you go wrong? I mean, I liked everybody's costume. Was there anybody that you didn't like? I mean, I like the fact that the costumes are actually part of the story with the jacket and all that. Was genius.
I like that they. Well, I don't know. I wish Han Solo looked a little different.
Looked different?
The white shirt, black.
I couldn't
vest or jacket again.
Hey, when you got,
Leia didn't show up. She actually, her outfits changed in every single movie she was in.
Yeah,
but yeah, no. I don't think nobody.
So Solo's the only one.
Kylo Ren's design and how he looked was pretty good. It's hard to have a villain that's kind of looks like Darth Vader, because then you're comparing it. And nothing beats Darth Vader's look in the Star Wars universe, in my opinion. So
I thought Kylo's profile was wonderful, and I mean, I think he is very striking visually in every scene that he is in. Phasma has the coolest costume and most disappointing role in this one.
I would definitely agree.
Like all the costumes were great. All the props, sets, just amazing.
I think at this point we can talk about whatever as far as structure. So I'm going to talk about Han's death.
Yeah,
and
you tell
what
me.
you thought about it. Or
Yeah.
for me, as well as a lot of other people I've spoken to, they felt more needed to be, when he died, a movie icon. Like more needed to be made of it, or the effects needed to be more weighty than they were.
Wow, so that's a complaint you've heard people say on the internet or talk to?
A few of my friends, they feel the same way. For me personally, when he was killed, like I had zero emotion. Like I didn't even move.
Did you see
I don't
it coming?
know why. I think I did because, I mean, as soon as they were close and the dialogue started saying, "Can you help me?" and all that stuff, I was like, "Oh, he's gone."
I loved it. It reminded me of the patricide scene in Gladiator, which is a good thing, and because I kind of wanted, there was a lot of connections between Kylo and Commodus, the fit throwing, the thrashing around, the anger, the fear of not living up to this father figure. The hating, I mean, he actually had a couple of different, he's had like 3 different father figures now. So he's got Vader, he's got Luke, he's got Han, so he's got all kinds of daddy issues. But all of that stuff, I was totally bought into this dark kid who's disturbed and being led down the wrong path. Much more in Kylo than I ever was with Anakin in the prequels. So this was wonderful to get to see that. Harrison and Han had established this whole thing of, I'm a believer now. I've been a good guy. I've tried to do the right thing by my wife. It has awful thing happen. I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm not going to leave until the job's done. Han's whole world is always thinking about going to do his own thing. Oh gosh darn it, I better do the right thing. So as they have got the shields down and they see the ships, he's the one that says, we can't leave them out there, guys. We got to go blow up or help them out somehow. And so that perceived weakness is actually what led to his downfall, even though that is his strength, is the turning back to the good. And then when he even sees his son, he's like, you see it in his face. He's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to do this one last thing to try to make amends for the life I've lived. And he walks out there.
Very vulnerable.
To me, it was totally built up. I don't know where your friends.
No. He was just saying the actual death, like after the after effect of it.
Okay, so boom, he's hit. He's falling off the thing.
Yeah,
and Chewie goes ballistic,
which was awesome.
Which is great because
Chewie
at that point doesn't care who's around. Is going to hurt whoever, even himself. Boom, the other people are having to escape because everything's exploding.
And you saw Leia. She sat down.
Felt the weight of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I guess they just wanted a little more.
Okay, so one way to get a little more is to do a funeral.
Yeah, no body. But
no body. Could have had a little memorial scene. Could have done like in Serenity, where you get a little hologram face of Alan Tudyk or...
Spoilers. Oh my gosh.
If you're watching this, you've never seen Serenity. That's sad.
The Han Solo, like just an imagery in general, it reminded me, of course, of Episode 5, of being on that catwalk kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, to me...
Two people, just them two speaking to each other, and you're like, I've seen this before.
And not having any dialogue afterwards when Rey gets back to the planet and all that. I was fine with all that. I didn't feel like, also Han Solo was a hero, but he didn't work for the Resistance. He hadn't been around all those young guys. He was just Han Solo. And Chewie was upset. Might have been not. We got a little scene of Chewie being upset again.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So you don't buy that?
Not at all.
Sorry, Gavin, my cousin out there.
Gavin,
Jeremy
you're
does
awesome,
not,
but I'm not buying into.
buy into
Han
that.
was totally taken care of.
The end, I thought, was not just one of the coolest Star Wars scenes, but just one of the coolest cinematic scenes.
So great. I felt like I was going back to the island. I felt like Hurley was going to just walk right out around the corner and be like, I've been here with Luke the whole time.
He did try to write Empire Strikes Back.
I know. It's so great. I was literally thinking Hurley has got to be here somewhere.
But the fact that she held out the lightsaber and just held it there and held it and held it. And the camera that goes around and around.
Yeah.
And it's just so powerful. And the look of shock, I think, on his
Mark
face.
Hamill communicated so much in that one little turn. It was awesome.
And I wonder, and in your opinion, was he communicating that, hey, this is my daughter that I haven't seen in a long time?
Oh, that's what everybody thinks. I don't think so.
Then who?
I don't care. I really don't. I don't. Rey could have any set of parents in the galaxy. She's awakened to the Force. She may have been trained by Luke. She may not even been trained by Luke. She may have a connection and see things. I mean, it's. I'm fine with that. That's what I'm saying. When you talk about building Star Wars on top of Star Wars, where everything has got to be connected to the first set, is not gonna work well over time. So you build it on real mythology, and that's where they need to go back to. So that means that Rey does not have to be Luke's daughter, does not have to be the separated twin. She can just be somebody. I mean, we got to have this continue beyond the Skywalker clan. Okay, that's the problem with the expanded universe stuff, is they just were mired in, Han and Leia have got to have kids, and Luke's got to get married, and they've got to have kids, and then the kids got to go bad. I mean, it's that whole thing. It didn't bother me that Han and Leia's kid went bad. It just I've seen it done, and I wanted there to be. I'd like for this to go a little bit beyond, and give me something else I can hang my hat on moving forward, and really build on this concept instead of staying so incestuous with inside the story. It's my opinion.
Who is Snoke?
Let's go through some questions. I've got some questions.
Okay.
Because that might be one of them. So let me do these, and let's get your answers on this. We've got about 10 minutes. We're going to go
Oh
through
my
these.
gosh.
Are you ready?
Okay.
What really caused the fallout between Luke and Kylo Ren?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. Did Snoke show up and start messing with him? Is there a tempting scene? Is there some type of hatred for Luke for taking him from his parents? He hates Han. He feels like Han's just a weakling. So there has to be some sequence. And are we going to get to find out what that is?
Maybe Kylo killed his wife.
My God.
Who knows?
Can I? Okay, so let's go down. This is a hot topic. So when I never was a fan of Mara Jade. Okay, not even in the Thrawn trilogy, and certainly not when they needed to get married. Just don't think that has anything to do with Luke's journey whatsoever. Luke does. Okay, so let me ask you this: does Luke know the Jedi code and everything about the Jedi? Are there sequences of him getting trained where Yoda would have shared some of the politics around being a Jedi? Or is Luke only know what we've seen in the movies and therefore doesn't know that there's a rule about attachment and love and that Jedi should not go get married because, by the way, that's what created Darth Vader?
I think he would know.
He would know. Thank you. Is he going to now decide because he falls in love with some redheaded Jedi ex-Emperor assassin woman or whatever crafty world, you can determine that he's going to go ahead and violate one of the principal tenets of the Jedi Code that he's trying to become and build the new Jedi Order, and go, that whole attachment, love, married thing, I think we're going to wipe that one under the table. I'll go ahead and get married. I don't think he would do that.
I would agree.
He's
got more important things to do.
He's got more important things to do. He's a Jedi.
I would think.
So in my mind, he's not going to get married, and he is not going to have a child. It would be basically saying that in the character arc of Luke over the last 30 years, there had to be something so traumatic that he was willing to break the Jedi Code, fall in love with this woman, get her pregnant, or they get married in some fake marriage thing like Anakin and Padme did. They have a child. That child's Rey. Somehow this is all feasible, and you could certainly write a story that does this. I just don't think it serves the overall Star Wars mythology to, again, live in that little...
Why do you think Han Solo named his kid Ben?
Because of how influential Ben was in
not Han Solo's life.
Leia's life. This is her father's friend. He got her whole started. He talks about Obi-Wan Kenobi, you were a friend of my father. I mean, that's the whole genesis, is Leia trying to find Ben. So I am completely okay with that naming.
I should have been maybe like Forlom or Zuckus. That would have been cooler names.
Why is there a map to Luke Skywalker? Does he want to get found?
I think it was maybe a just in case.
A just in case. Okay.
Or I read something that nailed
we
it.
Know
I can't
when
remember.
we know why Han and Leia weren't together. What's the future
Do
hold?
we? Why?
Why they're not together?
Please tell me.
Why they're not together?
Yeah.
Well, because she decided that she would take their son and give him to Luke. And Han did not want that to happen. And therefore, the break occurred at that point. Then their son goes bad. She can't stand to be around Han anymore because she can't see him without seeing their son. It's all there. You think something else happened?
A little more to that.
Well, what else?
No,
Okay.
go ahead.
No, that's it. That's the reason.
Okay, fair
Do you
enough.
think there's some plot reason?
There is.
Why?
Because
Give it to me.
All right, this is
Is this something you came up with, or something
wish.
an internet person came
no.
up with?
This is the biggest differences between the book and the movie versions of The Force Awakens.
Oh, the book. Who wrote the book?
Yeah, Marty Ancillary. No, I have no clue. Alan Foster, maybe. I think that's
Alan Dean Foster that wrote
Dean
Splinter
Foster.
of the Mind's Eye. Great,
Yeah.
great book.
Let me see if I can. Sorry for not having this.
No, no worries.
Okay, so this is from Gizmodo. Says the book confirms that Han and Leia got married after the events of the Return of the Jedi. But on top of that, the book also reveals that Leia knew Snoke would try to turn Ben to the dark side and kept this information from Han, thinking that as a non-Force user, he wouldn't be able to help or understand. Leia thought as the Force-sensitive parent, it was her duty alone to protect Ben, but she ultimately failed him. Her keeping the secret was part of why Han left her following Ben's ascension to the Knights of Ren and the Massacre of the New Jedi Order, because as in the movie, Han believed that it was his fault that Ben turned. A little more.
Would have needed a couple scenes to play that out if that's the case. Like a bunch, and give us more background on Snoke, which they didn't want to do.
Who is Snoke?
I don't know.
Could he be Darth Plagueis?
Could be.
Could be a lot of people. But he was the one that learned to conquer death. That's what Palpatine told us, right? A lot of people feel that it could be him.
But I felt like it was implied that the Emperor Palpatine killed Plagueis.
Yeah, and then he found a way to conquer death.
Oh, so he's still alive.
That's what people are saying.
Oh.
Other people are saying it's the Emperor. I'm going to go on record to say if that's the case, that is horrible writing.
Yeah, I'm out on that.
See, I liked just some small things. I loved the chess. Oh, did you have more questions? What other questions?
Well, I mean, they've got like, what would the future hold for Finn? I mean, obviously he's going to come back and be great. I think that's going to be good. He's going to stick with the Resistance and be there. He'll probably go help find Rey wherever she's at. Can Kylo Ren be redeemed? That's a big one. I'm kind of thinking that patricide's an unforgivable sin, even in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I think he's made the choice.
Very interesting that he was struggling, though. And I really liked that. Like, you saw the conflict within him.
Yes.
And I thought that was really cool. And as noted in this article as well, it said that he felt weaker when he killed Han Solo, not stronger that he thought he would feel. Thought that was really
interesting.
Cool.
Very interesting.
What
Chewbacca's obligations. What is Chewbacca's obligation now?
Find that body, and bury it, or find that body and see that he's still alive. Who knows?
No, it's done. Man, I this was great. I think I think that my favorite overall point is that the Star Wars universe is now continuing, and it's continuing in a way that honors the old one. It is very exciting to get to experience the next set of movies moving forward. This movie did not become my most favorite movie of all time, which I thought it had the potential to be. So there's that whole lesson of, getting to the, if that would have been the case, I don't know what it would mean. It's one of those things where maybe you can't replace some of those perfect things of your childhood, and they have to have their spot in your mind. But this was a great movie. It is very fun. I'm super excited. I love it for the world that everybody is getting to experience more Star Wars and really enjoy it. It definitely redeems the franchise, which I thought was impossible, but it has been done.
For me, perfect. 10 out of 10. Though I had some gripes, that doesn't mean it's not a 10 for me. Yep. I mean, like, just from the big action sequences and the big themes all the way down to things like the chess set. The chess set that...
so awesome to see
chess set that continued. It was literally a continuation of
the original game?
Yeah.
I love it.
I was like, little things that are fan service, but mean a lot to me. So this was a surreal... You said... the strangest experience you've had watching a movie.
Absolutely.
For me, it was very surreal, in the best possible way. So thank you, J.J. Abrams. You nailed it somehow.
Thank you, entire crew. Thank you, Stu, for doing this podcast and roping all of these things together. And
we literally could go on for another 5 hours because, of course, we left out things we didn't talk about. But we're trying to... Everybody's... talked about those kinds of things. You can see them on other podcasts. So maybe
we just needed to give our opinions
deeper or a little better.
I don't know
if I could say.
I don't know if we covered anything better. I know we gushed for a long time. It was wonderful to talk through. I am excited about the upcoming year, 2016. We're going to be going back to doing creator corners and focusing on some specific comic book related stuff. We are definitely going to do our Batman extravaganza with Capullo and Snyder, and I'm really excited about some of the stuff we have coming down the pipe.
We need to do a Captain America one too, because I think it's his 75th anniversary.
Oh yeah, so and there's a little movie that's coming out with Cap in it.
Yeah.
I would love to do Brubaker Captain America omnibus review and the greatest Cap stories. That sounds like a great idea, Stuart.
So this is just before Christmas, so we want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and for Comic Book Education, my name is Stuart.
And this is Jeremy.
Class dismissed.